Hey everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with Mr. Bauer today. Today I'm going to show you a skill that I use quite a lot when I'm cooking, especially when it comes to my famous pancakes. My kids don't love anything more than the pancakes. They ask me every week to make them, and I say yes quite a bit because, well, they're delicious. So anyway, the skill that I'm going to show you today is called multiplying fractions by a whole number. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of examples, and I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. And then we're going to go into some word problems as well. So what we're going to take a look at is, if you want to pause the video, there's a little bit of an explanation here, but I'm going to walk you through it and we'll do a couple of these examples down below. Okay? So the first one, our fraction is 3/5, and we're going to multiply that 6 times. So you see that we have a bunch of circles here. They are split up into fifths. And what we're going to do is we're going to shade in 3/5 6 times. So we've got 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. I'll put a check. That's one time. Now we still have fifths here, so let's continue to fill those in. We've got 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. All right, that's a second time. You'll notice that we had enough to fill in to have a whole thing filled in, so we had to go to the next one. All right, here we go. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. 1/5, 2/5. 3/5. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. That's a fifth time. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. All right, that is a sixth time. So if we are going to take a look at this, I'm going to do a little writing over here. We got 3/5 times 6. I'm going to show you a short way that you can write this, and then we'll use our models to figure out how to turn that improper fraction into a mixed number. You'll see that we have 5/5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 fifths filled out. 18 fifths. All right, take a look at those numbers. You notice anything? How could you have gotten that 18? Yeah, if we had 6 groups of 3/5, we would have 18 fifths. I know that 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, now we'll work on changing that improper fraction to a mixed number. We have 1 hole here, 2 holes here, 3 whole, we'll call them circles filled in, and then we have 1, 2, 3/5. So 3/5 times 6 is 18 fifths, but it's also 3 and 3/5. All right, pretty easy if you know your multiplication and you can fill in these circles. So let's try a one together here. I'll pause for you to be able to say some. We'll kind of do it like Dora the Explorer. Where are we going? Grandma's house. Just kidding. You might have to be in class to understand that joke. So anyway, here we go. We've got 1/3. You see all of our circles are split up into thirds, and we need 4 of those 1/3. So there's 1/3. There's 1. We've got 1/3 a second time, 1/3 a third time, and 1/3 a fourth time. How many thirds did we fill in? We had 1/3. Yep, if you said 4 times, you got it. Now, how many thirds are filled in? If you said 4 out of 4 thirds, you got it. Now, look at this. How many whole are filled in? 1, you bet. And how many thirds are filled in with the rest of them? 1/3, you bet. So 1/3 times 4 is the same as 4 thirds. It's also the same as 1 and 1/3. All right, let's try one more together, and we'll kind of do it where I'll pause and let you say what you think it is. So first of all, we've got 1/8, and we've got all of our circles split up into eighths. We've got 6 of them, all right? So how many eighths are we going to fill in? If you said 6/8, you got it. All right, let's go. Here we go. We got 1/8, that's once. 1/8, that's twice. 1/8, that's 3 times. 1/8, that's 4 times. 1/8, that's 5 times. 1/8, that's 6 times. So we did 1/8 6 times. How many eighths were filled in? If you said 6/8, you got it. Now we don't have a mixed number to turn that in because we don't have a whole piece filled in. But what do we know about equivalent fractions? I know both of these numbers are even. They can be divided by 2. So we can do 6 divided by 2. We can make the pieces twice as big. So we would need twice as few. So 6/8 is the same as 3/4. All right, that's the way to multiply fractions by whole numbers, and we saw the visuals of what's going on. Now let's take a look at a couple of word problems here. All right, first one, it says, each day a company uses 2/8 of a box of paper. Hopefully not for paper airplanes. How many boxes would they have used after 5 days? So we've got 2/8 of a box of paper. That's on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and day 5. So we've used it 5 times. All right, let's see, 2/8. And we've got 5 groups of 2/8. You could also think about it like repeated addition. 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8. All right, how many 2's do we have there in the numerator? You bet we got 10. And what's our denominator? You bet that is 8. So 2/8 times 5 is 10/8. We'll change that to a mixed number again. If you're not sure how to do that yet, no worries. We'll work on that as well. So I know 8/8 is the same as 1. And I've got a 9/8 and 10/8. So I've got 2 more is 2/8. Last thing, I noticed that both of these numbers are even. So we can simplify that fraction. So 2/8 is the same as 1/4. All right, so like I tell you, that's the best answer. That's a good answer. That's a starter answer as well. So if you can do any of those, you're on the right path. All right, let's try one more here. It says a pitcher could hold a half a gallon of water. That'd be weird for a pitcher playing baseball to hold a half a gallon of water while he was trying to throw the ball. Oh, sorry, that's a lame joke. No, we're talking about like an actual container of pitchers, something that you use to dump liquids out. So sorry about the lame joke. It says a pitcher could hold 1/2 of a gallon of water. If Sam filled up 8 pitchers, how much water would he have? So we've got 1/2 of a pitcher. We've got 8 of those total pitchers. Let's write this out. 1/2, that's 1. 1/2, that's 2. 1/2, that's 3. 1/2, that's 4. 1/2, that's 5. 1/2, that's 6. 1/2, that's 7. 1/2, that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's a lot of halves. So we add that all up, and we've got 1/2 times 8. 1/2 plus 1/2 plus all the way, add those all up, we get 8 halves. Now you might be able to think of this because halves is a pretty common fraction we use. If you have 8 halves, we would have the same as 4 whole. So there we go. Like I said, we're working on multiplying fractions by a whole number. We were able to take a look at what that saw. And again, I'll leave this up here if you'd like to practice this a little bit on your own. There's a little bit of a reteaching of what was going on up here. And then if you'd like to pause the video with here, you got some practice that you are able to work on, 12 total problems, 10 extras here. But that's how easy multiplying a fraction by a whole number can actually be. So thanks for hanging out with Mr. Bauer, and we will see you in the next video.